So my name's Rich Dibbins. I obviously work with Conscious and I teach law firms about social media. Anything from LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Google+. There's around about 300 social media platforms out there at the moment. The four key primary ones are LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. YouTube is even a social media platform. And if you've got YouTube videos, Google loves it because it interacts with their search algorithm. Now, how do you currently find your clients at the moment? It begins with R, in case nobody remembers. Spot on, young lady. Referral-based. Now, how were you doing referral-based work 10, 15 years ago? Exactly the same premise you're doing it today, except with social media, you can track it. So basically, people were doing referrals. It may have been in a pub. Somebody says something about somebody. They want to look for some work. They want somebody to instruct them to do something. You're doing it in the same premise, except the best thing about social media, you can track all of it, all the way down to a small like of some page, okay? So I do love this image. You've got mail. My Labradoodle actually gets all my posts, so I never get anything through the door anymore. I'm working with Google at the moment to understand how social media works within the UK market. There's nothing worse than seeing stats at the moment for the US market. Well, I don't care about that. It doesn't affect UK businesses. But that's what everybody posts out there at the moment. These stats are from the UK. Now, who's heard of double screening? Because you've all done it. Sounds a bit rude, I know. Basically, you're on your phone and you're watching the TV at the same time. You're looking at a tablet. You could be in work and you're looking at your phone. Essentially, you're looking at your TV or you're looking at your screen and you may be doing social media and you don't even realize it. It just becomes second nature to us. But the idea and premise around it is we're spending more time looking at screens these days than paper-based or radio or, heaven forbid, the telephone marketing that happens at the moment. So this is the amount of time people on average are looking at screens. And the majority of the reason behind that is social media. So, what's another problem with social media? It's changing. Almost every month there's something new, something different coming out. So our ability to keep up with technology is changing. By the time we've learned something, it's changed again, okay? But don't be worried or don't be fearful about the technology, because I'm going to show you some of the key tools that you'll be able to use, and you don't need to be a tech or a geek to understand these, although techs and geeks do love these tools, to understand that they're going to save you three things. One, they're going to save you time, they're going to save you money, and you can be able to understand your return on investment with social media, which typically most partners in law firms want to know. If I'm spending X, I want to know what I'm getting back. So, why should you bother with social media? It's referral-based. It helps establish your clients and relationship. Too many social media bods are out there saying it's all about brand. Put the brand out there. No, it's not. It is if you're buying a product like Tesco's. That's a brand. They're asking you to buy a product. But when it comes to social media for professional services, nobody buys off that straight away. So you need to establish credibility and relationship and improve your relationship with your client. That then establishes the brand. People then buy off the back of the brand. Okay? So it's relationship, brand, and then going through to a purchase power. So this is a stat that I found. Does anybody receive the PM Forum marketing brochure? If you don't, I recommend you get it. 77% of law firms are basically now going to be looking at social media. 3 years ago, they were thinking about social media. Last year, they thought about doing social media. Guess what they're going to do this year? They're going to do social media. So we understand there's a bit of a progression with the legal sector. But social media, it is an interaction on a media level. I don't know if that's me or that one. So it's understanding, it's sharing images, sharing photos, sharing sound, any element like that, but it's on a social media platform, and it's still using the human element of social media. So don't forget about the human element in there. Too many people are pumping stuff out on social media and forgetting that it's still a human being who's doing it. Okay, because if you incorporate the human element, you'll get more interaction back. If you sound like a robot, guess what happens? You're going to get idiots replying back or robots. Typically, you will get weirdos replying as well. So, what one should I be using? How many people in the room are commercial clients or commercially work-based? 1, 2, 3. Any advance on 3? We got a 4 at the back? No? And how many are a private client? We typically don't like to use those words in the office, so we use business consumer or business to business. The big green circles, they're the ones you should be on for business to consumer. And business to business, those ones should be on. So LinkedIn is your commercial work. Facebook is your private client. Twitter incorporates all of it. Sorry, I'll let these fine gentlemen and ladies sit down. So LinkedIn is fantastic for building commercial relationships. Facebook, it's not for the spotty teenager, okay? My mum is 57 years old, retired childminder. All of her work was referral-based via Facebook. Now, she's a childminder, I appreciate it, but it's still technically a professional service. And a lot of her work was referral-based as a direct result of Facebook, okay? Then we've got Twitter. Twitter's got the biggest following on the planet for social media, okay? So the premise is that you would tweet and you have links coming back to the website. When you do a tweet or anything like that, if you want to promote your law firm, here's one little trick if you want to get them back to the website. Got your pens ready? Include a link back to your website. That may sound completely common sense, but loads of people tweet and they say, social media doesn't work for me. Why doesn't it work? Well, nobody's retweeting what I'm doing. My stats on my website haven't gone up. Have you included a link back to your website? No. Include a link back to your website, back to a blog article, service page, profiles. If you include these links back, it builds traffic back to the website. And Google loves this. Question, yes, sir? Twitter has 147 characters. 140 characters you can put into Twitter. I'll come on to what you can do a shortcut back to your website address. Okay, so that's shortening the URL, because if you copy a link from your website, it's about 120 odd characters. Before you know it, you've pasted some weird, wonderful, alphabetical language that's gone in there. So I'll show you exactly the short URL. By the way, I love questions. I'd rather have 100 than none at all. So thank you, sir. You win a power bar thing at the back, so you get one of those. So, again, it's about raising your profile, listen, talk, engage. I mentioned that everybody talks on social media, but do you know what's important about social media? Listening. If somebody says something bad about you and you don't action on it, that's bad. Contribute to groups. If somebody's asking, does anybody know a solicitor who can do X, Y, and Z? Contribute and say, yes, I know so-and-so. If somebody's looking for a commercial firm and only you do private client, share that link. Because you know what? If you share something with them, they're going to share something for you. We don't always have to be selfish on social media and talk about ourselves from day in, day out. Okay? The other thing is, if you talk on social media, if I talk to you about social media day in, day out for the next 6 months, what would you all say? Go on, you can be abusive. I've had someone say, I'll throttle you. Sorry?
You'd be the expert.
I'd be the expert. Yeah, but after 3 months, if I talked to you, sir, about social media, tweeting and everything like that, what would you honestly do? I think you said he'd kill me. Basically, you'll turn off, you'll get bored, wouldn't you? But if I talk about topical items, other elements about social media, if I constantly talk about social media all the time, you're going to get bored and switch off. So you need to change it up a bit. And I'll come on to that after this. So don't talk about legal jargon day in, day out. As much as you want to impress your peers and your other law firms, unless your client base is law firms, don't. Because it's boring to the general public. Nobody wants to hear it day in, day out, that you've been established for the last 3,500 years and that you're a city-based client. Okay? So it's understanding and putting content out there that works and what doesn't work. So, coming on to which came first, audience or content? You, sir, content. You said content. And he would be right. If I'm doing work for a clinic firm and I put content out there about commercial clients, how many tweets, retweets, updates, shares do you think they're going to get? 0. because it's not relating to their client base. So get your content correct and your audience will follow. How many law firms work with charities at the moment? Or do any form of charity? A lot of you do. You're very charitable individuals. Join a charity. If they've got a huge Twitter following or a Facebook following, piggyback on the back of it. If you're helping them out, they need to help you out as well. There's no harm in it, it's a mutual agreement. But charities tend to have a huge following compared to a law firm, unless you're the likes of Irwin Mitchell, for example. Anybody from Irwin Mitchell in? No, okay. So, on to LinkedIn. How many people are on LinkedIn at the moment? Brilliant. How many people don't have a photo on LinkedIn, but they are on LinkedIn? You, sir. May I ask why you don't have a photo? You haven't had time yet. Okay. Let me put it into perspective for you. Actually, do you have a photo on your website? On the firm's website? No way. No problem. Put it this way. If you don't have a photo on social media, on LinkedIn, it's like going into a pub with a bag on your head. You know you're there, but nobody else does. Okay? So having a professional photo, yes, that is me with Goliath at the back there. Okay? What we don't want to see is a faraway picture on a beach where you're about that big. And what we don't want to see is a selfie with duck-pouting lips, which seems to be the trend at the minute with some people. Next part on there, I see a lot of law firms and partners that will say, underneath what you do, more or less what their job title is. Now, if I search on LinkedIn, solicitor or partner, I get about 100,000 results. So you all blend in. How many people have got partner / director or solicitor underneath their name on LinkedIn? Don't be ashamed, put your hands up. Perfect. Change it to what you actually do. How you help your clients, okay? Because when people then search on LinkedIn, those are particular keywords that people are using to find you. And you won't blend in with the masses on there. So suddenly going from 100,000, you'll go down to about 20. And it does work, and I've seen people do this. Don't be ashamed of your past. Put in who else you've worked with on there. And a brief summary about what you do on. The nice thing about the brief summary is it can show the human element. Please don't copy and paste about us from your law firm's website. Put on there what you do, what your likes are. I'm not asking you to do a dating profile, but I'm saying what your clients may want to envisage of what you do. Because if a client of yours is into golf and you put your own golf on there, guess what? You've got a common ground that you can join with and maybe even go and play golf with them or something like that. Again, it's the human element to social media. So how do we use LinkedIn? We've got blogs on there, which is brilliant, although it's taking blogs away from your website. So again, the same premise with Twitter. Put in the link on your blog, and on my LinkedIn blog, I've got a link all the way back to my website, or the Conscious website, so people can then see that link on there. So I'm still driving traffic back. I can track what my updates are doing. So if my content's any good, I've got a couple of peaks and troughs on there. Maybe I said something that bored the devil out of somebody. But something I did on there around the 19th of April got a bit of a spike. And obviously share your clients' or your contacts' information. This one I found particularly encouraging. It actually says you're getting sacked in the morning, Paddy Power. They did it for just after the general election. Don't know if anybody saw it. It went viral within seconds on Twitter. But I'm sharing on an update, and I think it's got 48 likes, 19 comments. Now, if on average they've got 150 people on each of those likes, times that by 19. Sorry, I've never done countdown, so I'm not very good at maths. But that's a lot of people that potentially have seen this update. Twitter, the basics. So, at the back, you asked about shortening a URL. Okay. On Twitter, on the app itself, they've got this great little bit. You can pop in a copy of link, and it will shorten it automatically for you. Or you can get TweetDeck, and you can put the URL in, and it will shorten it for you. Okay. Another great thing about Twitter, if you've got the actual Twitter app, is you can actually see live updates of how well your tweets are doing. Okay. Who's got the Twitter app at the moment? Can someone just open it and see if they've done a tweet today and see if they see what I mean? but it shows this tiny, it's basically, it says engagement on the left, looks like a little graph, it's hidden, so you click on your tweet and it will show you your engagement on there. If you haven't seen it before, you can start monitoring how well your tweets are doing, be that engagement, click-throughs, open rates, the whole 9 yards basically. When you're doing Twitter as well, if you've got multiple services around private clients, commercial, then start setting up different Twitter profiles. Again, it's segregating your content for your private client, commercial, so on and so on. Because we don't want the generic content going out to all 4, or all 5, for example. Did you manage to find it? The wireless in here is shocking, but you found it. Is it on there? Tweet activity? That's it, it's exactly that. So it shows you how many impressions, and it shows you how well, have you seen that before? Perfect. And do you enjoy using it? Do you keep seeing it every time? I just keep on looking at mine all the time. Yes? If you click on one of your tweets that you've done, it won't show it for retweets or anything, or favorites. Only tweets that you've done, it will show the engagement level of. There we go, they're finding it shortly. So, how to use Twitter? Who's heard the term hashtag? Everybody's hashtag this, hashtag that. Hashtag works as keywords. Okay, so if I do hashtag caffeine, I get a lot of coffee people following me. If I do hashtag digital, again, loads of people end up following you. So keywords, using the hashtag, allows you to build followers, and then that audience gets picked up. And if that keyword goes viral, your tweet, it's almost like giving your tweet steroids. Goes through the roof. Next thing we got on there, on LinkedIn, you got a 2-for-1 deal. If I post a tweet if I do an update on LinkedIn, I can then also select share with the public in Twitter, so it'll post on my Twitter account. I'm saving time already by doing this. Does anybody use that feature at the moment? If you've got Twitter and you've got LinkedIn, it takes 2 minutes to set up, and you can join them up. Please don't apologize, go for it.
So, I don't understand, so you've linked your LinkedIn account and your Twitter account?
Correct.
And how do you do that?
Basically, when you've got LinkedIn, it will ask you, do you have a Twitter account? You say yes. You put in your Twitter account user details. It joins those 2 apps together. Basically, when you tweet, the updates go on there as well. When you do a LinkedIn update, it'll put it on Twitter for you as well.
What happens with the 150 characters though? Because on LinkedIn, you'd have something a bit longer, wouldn't you?
On LinkedIn, it doesn't have shortening of the URL, but on Hootsuite, I'll show you how you can post on both. So it's even, if you want to, I would recommend using Hootsuite rather than posting on LinkedIn alone, because I can manage everything from Hootsuite. And I'll come on to Hootsuite in a second for you. But if you did post it in LinkedIn, if you do it, it will tell you how many characters you've gone over. So it does warn you. It will basically say, we're showing this, the characters in red, we will not show this for you. So it kind of does that for you anyway. Okay? And the big baby on there, basically don't tweet anything boring. If you wouldn't read it, why would you post it? It's pretty much what I would say. If it's boring, it's not going to be engaging, okay? Now, I'm not saying you have to be, weird and wonderful like Conscious are with our bright orange dogs, but don't be so boring as to... I've seen a tweet that someone's published Article 19.3 of the Law Society Guide's Handbook. Well, to be honest, if that got any retweets, then I will eat my hat, like Paddy Ashdown once said. Sorry? You've just retweeted it? Go and find Paddy's hat, I'll eat it. Okay, and get a branded Twitter page. With all of these, when you go onto any social media platform, have a branded page. Why? Because your clients will basically, the continuity throughout the brand, okay? Don't have on Twitter the generic egg. Don't have on Facebook the little silhouette. And for the love of God, don't have on LinkedIn nothing at all for your business page, which I see a lot. They just have the name of the firm. And obviously with your profile, have a good profile photo. So these are branded pages that we've created. So the power of Facebook, I'm going to show you the tools that we're going to use as well that will help you, okay? So the power of Facebook, 1.8 billion users and growing. And can anybody guess who the biggest audience is that's growing on a daily basis? Go on, so you've answered 2 questions, go for 3. Correct, spot on. The age between 55 and 65 are the biggest growth of users on Facebook. Who's under the age of 30 in here? Not me. Okay, you have effectively made Facebook uncool for anybody over the age of 30. They're on the likes of Snapchat, Instagram, Pinterest, because they're sharing images, basically. So the growth, the older you are, the bigger the growth is. And that's where I see a huge market for the legal sector, because everybody's after those high net worth client individuals, and not to be, should we say, assumption or assuming, but the older you are, you tend to have a little bit more money, don't you? Rather than an 18-year-old who probably's just got a paper round. So the element is you can, under Facebook, you can start targeting ads for your clients. So you could do, well, here's a little competition for one of our power chargers. There's a guy who did a Facebook advert in Chelsea, people who were recently engaged over the age of 45 in the last 6 months. Can anybody guess what that advert was for? You're grinning, sir. Go on, Stefan? Go on, what was it for? Divorce? You're close. We weren't quite there. They've just got engaged, so if it's divorce, that's prenup. Congratulations. It was for prenups, and he got 100% return. That's how targeted you can be on Facebook. And the ad spend on Facebook is actually more cost effective than Google. In terms of tracking and the amount of, shall we say, variable searchability, Google has the key on that. But if you want something more cost effective on Facebook, private client, advertising I would start looking at. And it works on the same premise. Cost per click, you can set a budget, and you can review it on a daily or monthly, weekly basis. So, Facebook. This is Metcalfe Solicitors on there who do, that's one of their posts through there. So they're posting non-topical content on there. That's one of their charity days, is wear a football shirt to work day. Okay, it got shared. They've measured the data alongside it. What they're not doing is 24/7 legal jargon, like I mentioned. And this is Stevenson's. Anybody heard of Stevenson's? Fully serviced law firm. This is their Facebook page. They've got links back to their blogs on there. They've got their other service pages as well. But again, it's a fully branded site. And their videos are also linked into YouTube, so they're kind of getting double the power of social media. Does anybody write blogs? Brilliant. Do you share your blogs? Perfect. Well, I don't really have to teach you anything. This is what you need to do if you're sharing it. This is what we have on our clients' websites. It's an engagement level. So they can share on LinkedIn, Facebook, Google+, and you can see real-time results of when they're sharing it. Okay? Paul Hatchek, if you haven't seen his website, great sole practitioner conveyancer, but does social media up the yin-yang. I mean, the guy is phenomenal with it. So he posts his blogs on there. The element with blogs, what I like is that everybody assumes you have to write war and peace about blogs. You don't. Do you know the best blog in the world is 3 words, and it's an inspirational blog? You can have a blog which is actually music, videos. All these elements are blogs, okay? But having content on there, this is actually SlideShare that we're actually going to be uploading our slides onto, that our clients will be able to use and share. And that's a great engagement model, but not having anything which is war and peace. The nice thing about blogs show credibility and knowledge, and that's what clients want to see. If you can get that across in a blog, you'll get more stats coming through, more visits through to the website, and more people will read it and engage with it. But don't start writing about how you qualified as a lawyer for the last 300 years, and it's blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I do? When I write my blog, I give it to my other half. I nickname her the Botox Queen of Bristol, because she's completely unbiased about it, and she reads through it. If she's engaged on it, I know it's a good blog. If I give it to David, well, David might tear it to pieces. But I give it to somebody who is non-legal to read it. Will that get your attention? Yes or no? It's that simple. Question, yes, sir? Yes. Basically, so we're going to come on to it, well, basically at the end, but I'll answer it. People engage with images quicker than they will with words. It's proven. Basically, most people are taking selfies these days. My dad's just got a selfie stick. A little bit worrying, he's 60. But if you post an image on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or anything like that, and LinkedIn, you can share these images on there, people will engage with it instantly. If you have just text on there, they tend to read it. It doesn't have the engagement power that an image will. So Vine videos, anybody heard of those? 6-second videos, that's the big thing for 2015. And I'll show you shortly what that does. But yeah, having an image would be crucial on there. So these are the tools, and let me just quickly show you. So at the top there, we've got Topsy. Topsy is, if you will, the crystal ball of Twitter. You can see what's trending on Twitter, and you can research keywords. Okay, so you can type in divorce, conveyancing, and, I don't know, criminal law, and see what's trending, and post tweets around that. See what hashtags are trending, what images are working and what ones aren't, all the way through on Topsy. Topsy is free, okay? The idea is it's basically given me insight into these tweets before I publish them, okay? So you're gonna save time, because if you post a tweet that doesn't work, you probably won't post another one, or you might get a little bit disgruntled and bother anymore. But Topsy will tell me what's popular out there and what's not, okay? Sprout Social, let me, actually Hootsuite, let me show you this one. Has anybody come up against Topsy before? Okay, so I'll show you Hootsuite. This is Hootsuite, okay? At the top here is where I can type in my message, okay? So let's do @Legalex, talking, let's put in my hashtag, which is gonna be, oh, social media. In here, if I wanted to copy a link, so if we go to the Conscious site, and I'm going to lift that link there, go into Hootsuite, I add the link, bless you, press shrink. My URL has been shortened. Okay? What I can also do in Hootsuite is I can do scheduling. So how many people go on holiday these years? Yeah? How would you like it if you could schedule your tweets, go on holiday, and your social media has been taken care of? A few nods? Yeah, of course you would. So you can do scheduling. The free one will let you schedule one at a time, so it is a bit time consuming from that point of view. The paid for one will let you bulk upload. So if you set up your tweets, you can bulk upload and have it done in under half an hour. So say I want to schedule this tweet to go out today, but I want to do it at 5:10 p.m. and then I click save. I can save it as a draft, or I can just click schedule. I can also put targeting options, so London, okay? I can also attach an image in there. So you mentioned about imagery. This isn't my laptop. I'm kind of worried to open up the image folder and see what's in there. So I'll just click schedule. Oh, here we go. So at the top here, I haven't selected my post. So up here, if I wanted to, young lady, you said LinkedIn and Twitter, you wanted to schedule the post. So I'm gonna select my social media one, that one, and my LinkedIn one. And then I'm gonna click schedule. It's done. That post has now been scheduled. It's now gonna go out at 5:10. Anybody can look at it and find it at 5:10, or hopefully this is UK time it's set up for, and it's sent out for me. Or if I wanted to post a tweet and do it now, I can type it in and share it instantly. The free one will only allow you to have 2 feeds at any one time. You can have as many accounts on there, but it'll only allow you to post to 2 feeds. But say I'm busier than that, and I don't want to post anything. I want somebody to do it for me. So if somebody's writing blogs already for you in the website, and you follow shall we say the Law Society, you can go into Publisher, actually not Publisher, Settings, sorry. Oh, go back. We've got this RSS Feeds. Okay, so at the moment, I'm following the Conscious blog and Mashable. Mashable is basically where the social media hub is. Anything new pops up, it pops up on Mashable. So whenever they post something on Mashable, or if anybody writes a blog at Conscious and posts it, guess what? A tweet goes out on my behalf. I'm not doing anything. And we average blogs about once a week. So I don't even have to do any of my own tweets. It's all taken care of for me. So if you've got somebody doing regular news content for you, you set this up. It's a one-time link, popping it in. It's already done. You can only have 2 RSS feeds on the free one. On the paid for one, you can have unlimited RSS feeds. You want to link it, though, to a reputable site. So Mashable, I know they're not going to post anything on there, shall we say, about Jimmy Savile. But they're going to post stuff on there about social media, okay? So I would get Hootsuite on there. It's fantastic for those elements. Sorry? Yeah, I think the editor went from HubSpot to Mashable, and there's a bit of tie over. The websites almost look the same. I prefer Mashable because it also includes loads of other articles around other elements as well. It's either the Daily Star or the Sun, basically. Any questions around Topsy or Hootsuite? Sprout Social, that one is a paid for one. If you want to monitor what your clients are saying, and let's just go back to you're able to view that one. Sorry, the Wi-Fi in here is shocking, so it wouldn't load up. Sprout Social, though, you can start seeing what your clients are saying about you. You can monitor keywords. But if you're just starting out with social media at the moment, I'd look at Hootsuite first and then venture into Sprout Social. So rules of social media. Please don't get drunk and do social media. Okay. That is an actual tweet that went out. Is anybody in here from AWG? Brilliant. I'm worried one day she's going to be in here. Basically, the problem with that tweet is it went out, it then got retweeted to around about 3,500 followers on the AWG site. So golden rule, don't drink and do social media. Number 2, it is a private conversation in the open. Okay, so if you're not going to say it to their face, don't put it on social media. All right? And the rule of 10 was what I mentioned earlier, where it's 3 things about the firm, 7 things about something else. Topical, okay? Non-legal, something that clients are going to engage with. Social care is a huge element. Has anybody ever complained? Not on social media, just in general. Yeah? Basically, did anybody hear the story about the guy who complained on the Virgin train that he didn't have any toilet roll? Basically, Virgin retweeted back and said, "What carriage are you in?" This is a legitimate story. They said, "What carriage are you in?" He told them what carriage. 5 minutes later, there was a knock on the door. Lifted it open, loo roll came in. That genuinely happened. Now, they covered the same premise of social media care. 1, they recognized and understood that somebody complained. 2, they took it offline when they spoke to the guy and asked him what carriage he was in. And 3, they asked him, "Is everything okay? Did you obviously get your toilet roll, shall we say?" Those are the 3 core principles when you're looking at social media care. It's customer services online. Because more people, if you give them a bad customer service response on social media, it can do devastating effect to your brand. Okay? There's some other great stories about a guy who, actually is somebody I know, a guy called Nick. He went into Waitrose, he got his shopping from Waitrose. There was no cream in his eclairs. So the next time he went into Waitrose, they basically said, "Wait there, Nick," or Mr. Bull as it's known as, "we've got something for you." They came up and they had 4 eclairs with cream in. But he complained on social media about it. They recognized it. I mean, that's really joined up. But they covered the 3 principles. 1, recognizing there's an issue. 2, taking it offline. And then 3, contacting them afterwards to make sure it was all okay. Yes? Sorry, it's really hard to hear.
If somebody's complaining on your Twitter feed,
Yep.
you take that Twitter feed down whilst you're resolving it, and then
You basically, so the question was, if somebody complains on Twitter, what you do is you reply to them, you say, can you let me know what to contact you on, what number, if they don't have that available. They will then direct message you. You take that conversation offline, so you either ideally call them or send them an email afterwards. Resolve the issue. Once that's hopefully been resolved, you then repost back and say, "Just want to check everything was all okay." Because this slide is exactly what happened. NHS complained, they take it offline, but we haven't got the bit underneath here where they said, "Is everything been resolved now?" So you don't take your Twitter down unless they're being really, really arsey. You may want to block it. But other than that, you take the conversation offline. Because if you don't, and please don't argue with your clients online, it's like Coronation Street. Once you start arguing, everybody joins in, okay? So take it offline, resolve the issue, and then reply back and say, "Is everything okay?" So, help others. We were at the APL conference 2 weeks ago. Basically, somebody wanted to steal one of our dogs, so we caught them red-handed. This is what happened. 7 firms got involved on the Twitter account. One's stood at the back. Adam, can you show your hand? That individual there. And basically, we've got this there. So that is one of the orange dogs. Those are 2 cockapoos. That's David ushering the dogs away. But it's almost 5,000 followers that are under there that have been retweeted. But the most important, where am I getting that from? It's the cost to conscious in all those firms was 0. I mean, Adam, I think, how many followers have you got on your Twitter feed? Yeah, about 1,000. So you're potentially 1,000 clients got these views coming through, and this was trending. So we had a whale of a time at the April conference with this. Now I appreciate it's orange dogs, but there are 7 firms in there that don't, well, 6 firms in there that don't have orange dogs that potentially have seen this engagement going through. So what's next for 2015? Vine, 6-second videos, okay? We've just seen an app today that basically you can record on YouTube and upload it, do loads of cutting and pasting of the video. But Vine 6-second videos, people keep asking me, oh, I want to invest in a 3-minute video. Really, are people going to watch a 3-minute legal video? I don't think so. And some of the stats prove that they don't. But some big firms now are doing 6-second videos. Why? Because the average time of watching some videos is only 6 seconds. And you can get a client engaged in 6 seconds. We're not saying you have to be, unbelievably graphically trained around it, but you can do a 6-second video, post it, and basically that goes more viral because people will watch a 6-second video over 2.5-minute videos. Some people are thinking, well, maybe the 6-second videos are for people monkeying around, jumping off of slides or something. But if you go onto the Vine website, you'll see loads of professional videos that have been created in under 6 seconds. It's worth just taking a look at. But that's what Google are predicting for 2015. I wouldn't be surprised if Google eventually buys Vine out. And then the customer service. It's basically improving your client customer service relationship online. Because once you start building that, your client relationship is going to improve even further. Because more and more people would rather scream and shout about you on social media than phone you up and complain face to face. Why? Because they probably don't want to complain to a solicitor in case somebody says something, or in case you sue them, for example. So they're going to stick it on social media. So make sure you're monitoring that. So your social media shopping list for 2015, you need buy-in from the top. If you don't have that, you're going to struggle with social media, okay? If you give it to a paralegal to handle, it's going to probably last about 3 to 4 months and die of death. So get buy-in from the very top. Get a policy. If you don't have one, you'd like one, we have a static version we can give to you, and you can play around with it and edit it where you like. But have a strategy in place as well. What platform should I be on? LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Google+? Have a champion. It's crucial to have somebody who's going to take care of it. Typically, we find some of the juniors are gun-ho with it. If you give it to some of the older partners, I'm not being ageist, they tend to, it's almost like the gym after Christmas. Everybody enjoys it in January. Come March, nobody wants to bother with it. Okay? And get Hootsuite. Have a play with it. See how it works out for you. Okay? And crucial, don't forget it's the human element of social media. Don't sound like a robot. Don't blend in with generic content. If you want your clients to engage, you need to be different. Hence why we got bright orange dogs. Okay? And that's it. I don't know if I'm 2 minutes over. Yes, sir, go for the question.
It's not about LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
I look at some people and they've got 500 plus contacts, including yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm a little bit wary about dealing with some of these people.
Sure.
Purely because maybe they're very keen on collecting friends.
Yeah.
Not so much of the connection. What's your take? Just want an idea how you feel.
I feel very strong. So the question was dealing with people on LinkedIn who want to connect with you, who you probably have no dealings with, or you probably don't want to deal with at all. Be blunt with them. We've got basically in the office, on our notepad, on our computers, generic text that we've created, okay? And I copy and paste it. If somebody wants to connect with me, if I haven't spoken to them or met them, I post this reply and go, hi, Joanne, forgive me, but if I don't remember, did we meet, blah, blah, blah. We deal in these particular services. What can we help you with? And if they say no, I just want to connect with you, Well, sorry, no, I don't. Unless you're dealing with what I want to deal with, then no. I personally think LinkedIn is about quantity first over quality. Recruiters are terrible with it because they tend to, lions as they're called, LinkedIn Open Network, they want to connect with every bloody person, okay? So if you don't want to connect with somebody, just reply back and go, I don't. Another thing on the invites with LinkedIn, don't just click, I want to add you to my professional network and use the generic wording. Put it personal in there. Say, hi Mark, lovely to meet you at Legalex, love to connect with you, let's have coffee. Put that in there, personalize that approach. Because if they're going to make time to connect, make time to actually put that personal response in there, okay? Don't just keep clicking connect, 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 connect. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with crap. And if you want a real good LinkedIn experience, you need to add that personal approach to it. So all of my LinkedIns, whoever connects with me, I say thank you for endorsements. I say thank you for connecting with me on LinkedIn, and I share your content. And I swear on my Labradoodle Molly's life, that's exactly what I do. And I also do it for Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, I will follow you, okay? And I will say thank you. Do the same. If you get a present at Christmas, don't you say thank you to your family members? Do the same. No. Do the same on social media. You'll be amazed at the response you get back. Again, it's that human element to social media. And if you want one of these generic responses that we use all the time, happily email it and send it to you. It works a dream. Some people just say, oh no, I just want to add you to my professional network to build my reputation. Well, you're thinking about yourself and not me then in that perspective. So I don't want to connect with a selfish bugger, shall we say. Almost swore. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Yeah. No, that's still the same premise. So using social media to sell your services. Don't direct message somebody and sell your services on LinkedIn or Facebook unless they've engaged with you in some form of dialogue. I had a message sent to me about 3 or 4 days ago from a friend of mine who I know, and he sent me jargon about wanting to join his company or sell for him, do this, that, and the other. Well, I just said to him, I said, 1, no, because I'm happy in my job, and 2, if this is what you're sending to your client, nobody buys off that straight away. Again, it's using the premise, building your relationship, having the brand spread, and then the back end of that, people buy it. So exactly that. If that's what they were saying 20 years ago, it's exactly the same premise now. Don't try and sell to people online, especially professional services. No one will buy for you unless you hit them right at that niche point that they're looking for a lawyer to get them off a speeding ticket. Okay? Yes?
I'm on various LinkedIn groups, like professional groups,
Yeah.
and I see all the time people sort of posting kind of questions, and they're obviously trying to generate discussion.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say 80% of the time, nobody ever comments or responds. And
Yeah.
sometimes people do, and I can't really work out why some people bite with some things and some people don't with another. And I just wondered if you could talk about
On groups on LinkedIn, people tend to join groups for the sake of joining a group. Only join a group if you're going to contribute and listen. If you're not, don't join it. Yeah, you're right. There's people who just join a group and they don't do any contribution. I've seen a group of like 500 individuals and probably about 10 people talk on it. But if somebody is going to engage on that and you start commenting or anything like that, if it starts getting to some form of dialogue, pick up the phone and call them. It's that simple. Otherwise, you could lose all that dialogue and somebody may jump in and go, oh, actually, we can do this. I see so many people who are post on and go, we can do it for a fixed fee of X, Y, and Z. Well, that's not really engaging to the point of you want to do business. So I would contribute only to the groups and only join a group if you're going to contribute. Don't join it for the sake of joining it. Any other questions? I'm at the stand all day later on this afternoon and tomorrow if you're coming here, if you're glutton for punishment. If you can fill in your feedback forms as well, or make paper airplanes out of them, don't mind. And thank you for your time. Cheers.